providing resources and comfort to caregivers. This is Caregiver Crossing.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Caregiver Crossing. Thank you all so much for being here. If this is your first time, Caregiver Crossing is a show that's brought to you by Joy's House, presented in partnership with the good people at Cardon and Associates. And we're here with you every week talking about all things caregiving. My name is Terry Stacy. Tina McIntosh is here. She just needed to step away for a minute and take a phone call. But Noah Taylor is here producing today's show. Hi, Noah.
Hey there, Terry. How are you?
We're good. And I'm glad you're here. You've brought to us something very interesting called Love on the Spectrum.
I have.
This is something that we talked about how long ago? Hasn't this been a topic?
I feel like, we do discuss a lot of TV shows and movies. A lot
Tina
that are very
in,
similar to this.
Hi, Tina.
Hey, Tina.
Hey.
Tina, have you ever seen the show Love on the Spectrum?
I have. Yeah, I'm actually really upset about I'm really upset about Abby and David broke up.
I know, I did see that. Well, let's explain a little bit about the show, and then we will dive into Abby and David's
In case
relationship.
you haven't seen it, it's called Love on the Spectrum, and it's a documentary-style dating show on Netflix.
Yeah, and it's about these individuals who are living with autism, Down syndrome. There are some other diagnoses as well, but they're navigating dating and relationships and communication. Have you watched it, Terry?
I've seen one episode, and that was it. But I do know
enough.
of the show and how fantastic that it is.
Yeah, it's their life. I mean, they're going to restaurants, they're working, they're at home, they're at group dating events. I think there was speed dating on one of them too.
I think so too.
They're living life.
They're real people.
I think it's so cool that a lot of people with autism are very, very honest. They put things very bluntly, to say the least. And I have seen a few episodes, but I want to be honest that I've probably watched most of the show through TikTok clips.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
I have watched all the seasons. I'm not watching the current season. I have a reason, but anyway, I'm not watching the current season, but I will get there.
So, Tina, you did bring up, there was a specific couple that a lot of people resonated with, Abby and David. And this couple actually, in their first moment they met, they bonded over their love of lions and then built a relationship around it. But like a lot of relationships, things don't last forever. Abby and David did eventually end up breaking up. But there's still a lot of different relationships that were started on Love on the Spectrum that are still going to this day.
On TikTok, it is a lot of fun to watch the people who are imitating the cadence of the speak. Have you seen those?
Yes.
And it's beautiful. People love the cast. I mean, it's hard to say cast, but they are a cast.
Yeah.
People absolutely love the cast of Love on the Spectrum. I mean, these people have become famous.
Yeah.
Which, can you imagine? I mean, for someone living with autism, and particularly those who might be a little more agoraphobic or have more of the Asperger's kind of, where it's harder to have the interpersonal relations and large crowds. And then, they're being bombarded with fans.
Yes.
It's kind of cool. And if I could just veer off for a minute, because we're talking about the life and living life, the flagman or the flagger at the Indianapolis 500 and with IndyCar, because he goes everywhere, he's autistic. And he is an amazing interview. And I've had him on, talked with him several times as we gear up here for the month of May here in Indianapolis. He always comes to mind as somebody who I will never forget because of his strength and his ability. And he told me, as he came over to me and he had the interview, he said, it took, after we were done, he said, it took everything I had just to walk towards you and prepare and know that I was getting ready to be interviewed. And he said it took everything I had. But he's an amazing flagman, and they're going to do a documentary. They're producing a documentary about him right now. And he is also an author of a book about living with autism and living life. And I'm so glad that he's doing this and making autism and more aware. He's just recently got married, and he's just living life. When sometimes, I remember him telling me when he was diagnosed, he said, the doctors, he remembers specifically them saying, no, I don't know what you're going to do now.
We should have him on the show.
Oh, he's wonderful.
He
has an
absolutely love
agent
to.
now.
Good for him.
I want an agent.
I know. Well, what I love about this too is that we have started sharing so many stories of people who are living with
I love it
autism.
too.
The fact that he's going to get a documentary is
Yeah.
awesome. And there's just so many wonderful people here in Indianapolis and Indiana, all over the country to highlight, who are doing incredible things and have autism.
I agree.
To bring it back to the show.
I'm sorry I veered off.
No.
Wait, I want to veer one more way.
Yeah, let's veer another way.
I have heard people say, what if autism isn't a quote unquote disability, but it's a superpower?
I hope people look at it like that, because oftentimes when I'm around someone who's autistic, they're thinking completely different than I'm thinking, and it's
Yes.
brilliant thinking that they're doing.
What if
Brilliant
it's a superpower?
It's a superpower.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead. Back to
I'm
the
sorry.
show.
I was
Get
going to say,
back on the road.
back to the show. So, one of the things that I find the most interesting on Love on the Spectrum is that they show the moments before the people go. So, really, they're paired for these dates. If they have similar interests, they're paired for dates. But what happens before is the people living with the diagnosis with autism, they actually have like dating coaching for people, so they can
Yes.
ask questions. So they show a lot of the moments with their family when they're asking, how do I know when it's okay to like hold this girl's hand? How do I know it's okay to give her a kiss, or things like that? I think it's so cool that they show those honest moments of the people asking so many questions before, so they can feel prepared when they get there.
Did you give the stats on autism before I came in?
We did not give any stats yet.
Okay. 1 in 31 children in the U.S. are identified with autism, and many carry those communication differences into adulthood. 1 in 31 children. That's a lot.
It is a lot. And also, I have read lately, there are a lot of adults who are being diagnosed with autism.
Yes.
Past the age of 18. So I know that 1 in 31 number does still sound like a lot, but there's probably even more of those. And honestly, probably a lot of adults who might not even know that they have a diagnosis.
It's
Yeah.
really
Same thing with
interesting.
ADHD, and
Yeah, yeah.
I'm an adult, and I'm pretty sure that wasn't something that was diagnosed back then. But
Yeah.
now that I'm adult, I think probably I am. Not being able to sit still long and keep moving and certain things. Perhaps that's just me, but sometimes I think, you know what, I must be ADHD.
No.
because I can't stay in one lane.
I
I would agree with you.
Yeah,
You're
I mean,
absolutely right.
I'm hard to focus as I'm getting older. I
There's
realized
so
maybe
many
there was
adults.
really a diagnosis for
Yeah,
what happened.
yeah. There's a lot of adults who even past the age of 40 are being diagnosed with ADD, ADHD, OCD, things that they have been struggling for their whole life, but haven't even known that there might be a way to help. So that 1 in 31 children in the U.S., that does account for a lot of the people on this show on Love on the Spectrum. I do have a question for the both of you.
Uh-oh.
What stands out more, the relationships on the show or the way that people communicate on the show?
Oh,
I actually, for me right now, all I can think about is how they're communicating.
Yeah.
I don't want that to be my answer. I want it to be relationships. But at this very moment, it's the communication styles, because I can hear the cadence and the tones in my head. Yeah.
yeah. I would agree with her.
I think there's a lot we can learn from communication from our loved ones who have these kind of diagnoses. I think it's about time for us to wrap up this segment today.
I don't want to do that.
Well, I think we're going to have to, but don't worry, Tina. We will be right back. You can find past episodes of the show at joycehouse.org, and be sure to like and follow us on Facebook. If you'd like to connect with us to discuss show topics, need help connecting with resources, have a question that you'd like for us to answer on air, or just want to say hey, you can reach us at joycehouse.org. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing right after the break.
Don't let high golf rates drive you out of bounds. Save big with the Wish TV Great Golf Club card.
Central Indiana's largest golf club card membership is back for the 8th season with more courses than ever before. Save over 75% on tee times at 27 Central Indiana golf courses. All you need is the Wish TV Great Golf Club card. Cards are valid for the entire 2026 golf season.
Great courses, great savings. Score your Great Golf Club card today.
Central Indiana. Wish TV is now live on YouTube TV and Hulu Live, offering more hours of local programming than any other station. Search for Wish TV or look for CW8 on both YouTube TV and Hulu Live to find us. Watch local news, sports, and lifestyle shows live from Wish TV. You can still catch Wish TV free over the air or stream it live on wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile apps. Wish TV, available in more places for the latest news, weather, and sports.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Caregiver Crossing. If you're just joining us, I'm Terry Stacy. Tina McIntosh had to take a phone call. She dashed out for a minute, but Noah Taylor still here producing today's show. Hey. And we are lucky because in studio with us is Katie LaFever. She's Director of Marketing for Lifespan Companion Care. She brings us a thoughtful perspective on what it looks like to support somebody in their own home and how those experiences shape families over time. Hi, Katie.
Hello, everybody.
It's nice to have you here with us. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me. I'm very honored.
Well, just let's get right into it because I'm not sure I know. Tell us about Lifespan.
So Lifespan, it's in our name. Lifespan Companion Care. We provide caregivers into the home to provide companionship for our families that we have the honor to serve, whether that's in a Cardon community or wherever they call home in an assisted living or out into a home that they've lived in for 50, 60 plus years, and that's where they want to stay.
So it sounds like Lifespan can serve a lot of different folks. Who is this service really for? What kind of maybe demographics, what kind of diagnosis do you see a lot?
I mean, primarily the generation that we serve are seniors, but I mean, our services can be for anyone that needs that additional assistance at home. Our main goal is to provide connection, structure, and not only maintaining but improving quality of life. And so that's where our caregivers come in to do that.
So when we make that appointment, that arrangement, and the caregiver comes into our home, is there an assessment or how does that first initial meeting go?
So in a perfect world, we like to do a consult. That's where we as in me, get to educate not only our families, but our potential clients on our services and what we can do. This also breaks down exactly what it is that they need so that we know exactly what we need to do to come into the home and provide that improvement in their everyday life. And then we typically like to schedule an assessment where either myself or my counterpart, Emmy, comes in and we get down to the nitty-gritty. We figure out what their history is. That's also on a medical side too, because we want to make sure that when our caregivers go into their home, we know what their healthcare needs are too, so that we know what to look out for when our caregivers are there. Because we are non-medical, so we don't provide that skilled care first per se, but we want to be aware of what we can expect and what to know when we're going into these homes. And so that just sets us up for success. And then not only in that assessment, learning that clinical side, we want to know what their preferences are. What's their personality? What are they looking for when we send a caregiver into their home? Because that's what we're doing. We're sending someone into their home. So we want to make sure that we send the right person that provides them the care that they not only need, but can form that connection too.
Yeah.
So
yeah, sometimes that just doesn't work. Sometimes that just that's not the right person for this particular person that needs the care.
Mm-hmm. So and we don't always get it right the first time.
Well, yeah, but that's good.
Yeah,
that you care enough about it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so that's what. After we start services with somebody, we have our own team call to these families, make sure like, hey, how did that first visit go? How did that caregiver do? Is it a good fit? And if not, then we pivot and we adjust because we care so deeply about the people that we serve that we want to make sure we send the right person in because not everyone vibes together personality-wise. So we want to make sure we get that right, whether it's the first time or the second time.
Perfect. Katie LaFever is here, Director of Marketing, Lifespan Companion Care. Noah? So
in getting the right caregiver, I feel like a lot of families have an idea in their mind of what care will look like when they ask for companion care. So does the caregiver feel like a weight has been lifted after Lifespan enters the home? And then if they do, how long does that usually take?
That depends. I mean, everyone is different.
Yeah.
Because we all know in life it's not a one size fits all. I would like to say that majority of our clients, when we get in there and we build that connection with our families and our clients, there is that extreme weight lifted off their shoulders. I mean, that's what they called us in there for, because they know that they need help. And that's where we come in to help and to provide that care. So yeah, I can't say it's like instantaneous, or sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. So I don't really have a clear answer for that.
It's okay.
It's not an
okay,
exact
Katie.
science, is it?
It's not, and everybody's different, and every situation is different. And that particular, for some caregivers, does it become more of, I guess, your hearts? Because you've probably become a friend to many of them as well that you're caring for.
Absolutely. I mean, our caregivers do this because they have a passion to care for people. I mean, that's what we all are in this. You call it an industry or a business, but it's our passion. I mean, that's why I do
And I'm
what
so
I
glad.
do.
Absolutely. I'm so glad. And you're young too. And I'm glad to see
Thank you.
younger people that are going in this direction, because we're going to need you. We're living longer and we need help.
Yeah.
And so was that an easy decision for you to go into this direction of care?
It started when I was so young. Like, I started my career with Cardon, and I started inside of one of our own communities. And that stemmed from me personally experiencing it with my grandpa when I was at a really young age. We had a great experience with the last community that he went into, but the first one, it was just not a great experience. And I thought to myself, I want to be that change. I want to make sure that when people entrust their care with our team, with Cardon Lifespan, that they're getting the care that their loved ones deserve. And so it was easy. I've been doing it since 2019.
That's awesome.
Essentially since I graduated college.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Are there more needed like you?
Always.
That
I
you,
mean,
that for you guys at Lifespan, do you need more help right now?
we are always actively hiring caregivers, because at the end of the day, our goal is to continue to grow and to continue to serve as many people as possible. So we are always actively recruiting.
Excellent.
Well, I wanted to say thank you for sharing about your grandpa too. I think it's just so beautiful about how many young professionals have that personal experience that really makes them want to serve the other people in our community. So I'm just very thankful to Cardon. We are going to have to go in a second, but I do have one question for you. What is one decision a family can make early on in their diagnosis or in their progress that tends to shape successful care maybe over the time of the diagnosis?
Yeah. I think I said it earlier on. Our goal is to provide that connection structure and maintain or improve that quality of life. So the earlier maybe you look into knowing that your loved one needs help, the better quality of life that we're going to be able to provide overall.
So along with that, is there any signs that you would see that maybe somebody would need a service like Lifespan?
Oh, that's what I just wrote down. Exactly.
I mean, we get to be we're independent, right now. We can do pretty much everything for ourselves, whether that's meal prepping, housekeeping, laundry, day-to-day tasks that are easy for us. But I think where you see that you maybe need our services is when you're not able to do the things that you used to do. When standing up to prepare a meal is becoming taxing and it's no longer something that you're able to actually withstand doing. Maybe you're not able to reach into the dryer and pull your clothes out, or, you're not able to hang your clothes up, or, your baseboards are getting dusty because you can't reach down and do that anymore. And that's also a fall risk to a lot of people that we serve too.
Right.
So I think it's just as you start to see the things that you used to be able to do every day are no longer something you're able to do.
Noah?
I
We need to
imagine
take a break.
We do need to take a break. Will you stick around with us for another segment?
Absolutely.
All right, wonderful. You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you by Joyce House in partnership with Cardon and Associates. With 20 communities owned, operated, or managed in the Midwest and more than 40 years of senior living experience, Cardon and Associates provides residents with the best senior living options and personalized service. Visit cardon.us for more information and to find a community community near you. Stay put, everybody. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing right after the break.
Welcome back to Caregiver Crossing. Terry, Stacy, Tina McIntosh. She'll be back in just a few minutes. Noah Taylor here producing the show, and Katie LaFever in studio with us, Director of Marketing, Lifespan Companion Care. Thanks for sticking around through the break.
Of course.
We're glad you're here. So Lifespan sits within the larger Cardon network, is how we understand it. What does that connection allow you to do differently than a standalone companion service might not be able to offer?
Absolutely. I think one of the important things is Cardon saw the need and the gap in care, which is why they brought on Lifespan Companion Care. And what's really nice is, we were talking earlier about, when do people start having those conversations? This allows us to have those conversations early with people to allow them to understand that there is a service out there that can help them when their loved ones do need that additional assistance and they're not able to provide it. So that allows me to go in and educate people when they're in our facilities, in rehab, assisted living, independent living, and just get that conversation started so that when the time comes, we're here and we're there.
Yeah.
And we're a part of Cardon. So we have that continuum of care. So they don't have to look outside. They get to look right within our own company. And that's
Excellent.
amazing.
Yeah, terrific.
I imagine, the caregivers and their families are already just like drowning in the amount of information that they can receive. So having that help from Cardon already being in that network has to be so incredible. I am curious about what areas of Indiana does Lifespan Companion Care serve?
So we serve the entire Indianapolis area and the surrounding counties. We also service in our Beltrace community as well, south of Indianapolis. But as we continue to grow, we can hope to continue expanding our services outside.
Right. Let's get everybody served.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
make sure everybody
Right.
has that connection.
You're right. So does that mean that are there any qualifications that must be met before you will come in and help? Any qualifications necessary?
As far as like someone signing up for our services?
Yeah. Do they have to meet any kind of qualifications? Like we only make this much money or any qualifications?
So, there's different avenues as far as, what qualifications. If you are paying for our services with, say, a long-term care policy, there are certain qualifications that have to be met by that insurance policy and their guidelines.
Okay.
But say if you're paying privately for our services, no, there's no specific qualification. You call us, you need us, we're assessing and we're seeing how we can help.
Okay.
And then, of course, Medicaid waiver, too. Same with the long-term care policy. They are the ones that tell us kind of what we're able to provide, how many hours per month can we provide, and what services fall under that guideline for them.
Okay.
A lot of aging adults and people with these diagnoses are very lonely. And that connection is so important to Cardon. How do you know that's a meeting was successful other than just checking items off of a list?
Meeting them for the first time or going in for a visit with
both.
them?
I think both.
Okay. Like you said, we've been saying it this whole time, connection. Cardon, we are a family first company. So we want to build that connection. We want to make sure that when we go into their homes that we're not only meeting their expectations or meeting their needs, but we're getting to know them on a deeper level. We want to get to know who we're serving, how we're helping them.
This is Katie LaFever, Director of Marketing, Lifespan Companion Care. It all falls under the umbrella of Cardon, the Cardon Network. You know how important they are to us here on Caregiver Crossing. Terry, Stacy, Tina McIntosh will be here in just a minute. Also joining us is Noah Taylor. What have you learned from families that, even after a few months of care, that you wish more people understood at the very beginning?
So I think many families wish they would have started sooner.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. Because I feel like I am just like repeating myself over and over. We're there, we're connecting, we are providing structure in that home again. We're helping them do the things that they once were able to do independently, and we're helping them gain that independence again, and improving and maintaining that quality of life. So I think for many people, it's just, gosh, I wish I would have heard about your services sooner.
I think we hear that a lot at Joy's house. And for myself personally, it can be really, really hard to make sure that, I mean, these caregivers are already going through so many emotions in their process. So I imagine it just has to be so hard when you're in that moment to be looking for the right resources. I mean, you're just thinking about your person. And how does companion care play a role in making sure that that loved one stays at home longer? Um, is it the connection that makes the loved one stay at home longer? Is it the medical assistance, or is it everything in between?
I think there's so many things that go into it. Allowing someone to stay home longer, if you know that your loved one needs more assistance, but you can't be there all the time, that's where we come in. A lot of people move their parents or their grandparents in to live with them so that they can stay in a home environment longer. But also a lot of them work too, or, they go on trips, or a lot of people put their life on hold for their loved ones. And that's where we can come in and essentially fill those gaps.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
I like looking for that again. This is what I'm looking for a pet sitter.
Right.
I'm serious. It's like it's important to me for my own animal, and yes, for my parents or my people too. That care is so important, and so that we can go on a vacation or we can go somewhere. Katie, before we let you go, we just have about a minute left for somebody. Well, we got a couple minutes, don't we? Nope, just about a minute. For somebody listening who's trying to plan ahead, what is the one step they can take right now that makes everything easier later?
Just give us a call. I mean, that's all you have to do. Reach out, ask the questions. We don't charge you to educate you on what it is that we can do. We meet with you, we talk to you, we let you know all of our capabilities. And if we can't help you, let me provide you resources that can help you.
Awesome.
Because at the end of the day, I'm here to help. I'm here to educate. And my service may not be for you, but gosh, I hope it is. And if not, let me point you in the direction that you need to go before you need our services.
Lifespan Companion Care. How do we find you?
So you can find us online at lifespanservices.us/companion-care, or you can call us at 317-333-8240.
317-333-8240. Put you right in touch with Katie and her and crew over there at Lifespan Companion Care. Katie LaFever, Director of Marketing, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Great information today. We appreciate you all so much.
You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you by Joy's House in partnership with Cardon and Associates. With 20 communities owned, operated, or managed in the Midwest and more than 40 years of senior living experience, Cardon and Associates provides residents with the best senior living options and personalized service. Visit cardon.us for more information and to find a community near you. Stay put, everybody. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing right after the break.
Hi.
Hey.
Welcome back. It's Caregiver Crossing. Terry Stacy along with Tina McIntosh.
Hey.
And Noah here as we continue the very last segment here with us today. We'll be back next week, though. What do you want to talk about?
Funny Bones.
Let's talk about some Funny Bones.
Okay, please. Let's do.
So, Funny Bones was a disabled-led comedy night. This one was in Buffalo at a theater called the Gypsy Parlor. This was an article that I had found through the Buffalo Toronto Public Media through their Disabilities Beat series, which is something that I think we should have in Indiana. But it's built by members of the disability community to share their own stories through humor.
You need to start this.
Oh, should I? Because
Let's discuss.
I would really love to.
Honestly, we could do our radio play for this. We
Yeah.
could do stories. I mean, This whole thing, if I remember, started as a group chat, right? Just kind of as a safe place to tell stories.
Yes.
And then it turned into theatrical production.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love that things can just blossom from just a tiny group chat. But the event was a host guided the night through storytelling and humor. There was actually a headlining community who brought some of the structure and a little bit of pacing to the event. Of course, there were a lot of disability advocates and community members shaping the event, and a lot of performers sharing their own lived experiences.
You guys, this really would be so good here.
Honestly, so yeah.
I mean, it could. I know the venue would cost us a little money, but you could
we
almost
do
do it in
it?
your backyard.
In your
No,
backyard.
in your-
In somebody's
but
backyard.
somebody would be, I'm sure, happy to say, okay, come here.
So
Come
wait,
here
I-
to this venue. And then is that what we're talking about? It's a venue,
Yeah.
and then we have
Is it
anybody
acted
and
out by
everybody.
professionals, or do the people telling the story come and act it out? I need a little.
Well, I think we can decide whatever we want, but in this specific instance, it is the people with the diagnosis who are sharing their own experience and of course, putting a little humor twist on it.
I'm following some funny people on TikTok
I
right
was going to
now.
say, I know humility is very important, I think. You know, if I've said this a lot, but if you don't laugh, you'll cry about it. So I do think the humor aspect is so important for our loved ones living with a life-altering diagnosis. For the both of you, is humor important in your lives when you're sharing about a topic that's
Serious
hard?
stuff.
Yeah,
I always fall back on it.
yeah.
I've had to share so many in speaking engagements and certain things, and people ask you to come, and I turn it right around into humor, and I think that makes the audience comfortable too.
I think so too.
If you're watching and you're up on stage and you're telling a very heartfelt story, and it involves something that's pretty tough, pretty challenging, and you can find ways to laugh about it, the audience, I think, all of a sudden becomes very much more comfortable. If I'm in the audience and I'm watching and there's humor thrown in, I feel that laughter kind of just relaxes everybody for a minute.
Yeah, the laughter is so important and really a therapy for people. And I love that the humor gives these people with the diagnosis some sort of control over their own story.
Yeah.
They can tell it how they want it to be perceived. Not all the time the stories are very funny.
Well, but I mean, it's your story if you want to laugh about it. Sometimes we make a lot of cancer jokes in my house after 4 different cancers.
Yeah.
But we make a lot of cancer jokes. Or we even sometimes joke about, as people are getting older, in our own household. And I think there are times it makes people uncomfortable. The cancer jokes really land hard sometimes with people, but we're like, it's us. I mean, it's
That's how
happening
you're
to
dealing
us.
with it.
And,
That's right.
And we're not, it doesn't mean we're not. I don't know. I think there's a common misconception that when somebody who has something going on in their life that's heavy, that is scary, right, or upsetting, just because they're laughing doesn't mean they're in denial. We've talked about this a lot lately at Joy's house about you can be full of joy and sad all at the same time. I don't know why we feel like we have to pick one or the other. I don't know.
No, I agree. You're
Yeah.
right.
And so I think there are some people who are probably like, it's not funny to joke about this kind of stuff. Well, it is. And it's okay.
It's okay. If that's how you deal with it, it's okay. And it's okay. I'm with you 100%. And I definitely think you need to do this as a fundraiser for Joy's house.
I'm
I think
sure
this would
somebody
be
wouldn't like it,
so-
but you don't have to come if you
You
don't
know
like
what?
it.
Well, what
It's
would you call
okay.
it? I mean, how do you?
I think we stick with Funny Bones. What a perfect name.
It's pretty good.
And there are some incredibly funny people here in Indiana. I do love what you said, Tina, about, you as humans, I feel like we do have to feel those two things at once because, what is, like, you wouldn't know what sadness was if you had never experienced that joy before.
Right. Well, and I'm a big advocate of, I've said it before, but when my first cancer, I always thought of it like a pie, and there were pieces of the pie, and the pieces of the pie were different emotions. And so when you're going through that kind of stuff, what are some of the emotions you have?
if you're going through something like that,
Something heavy, a bad diagnosis,
Oh
a
my
scary
goodness.
diagnosis.
Well, you're going through certainly sadness and grief and disbelief, and but you also still have good days, and there's the humor,
Right. Joy,
There's
happiness,
joy
love,
and
right?
happiness. It's all there.
So here's my example. I remember there would be so many times I'd be sitting on my front porch. We were on a cul-de-sac at the time. The kids would be playing out in the cul-de-sac, like let's say they were playing kickball. And a friend would come up to see me, and they would suddenly, their voice would get really soft, and they'd kind of reach out and touch me, and they'd tip their head a little bit. And you could tell that they were changing who they were,
Right.
who I'd always known them to be. And I always say, they always slipped "I love you" into the conversation, even if they had never said it before. And I might have been in a moment where I was like, like, run, get the third, like, and laughing and having fun. And I learned very quickly to say, like, hey, Terry, I see that you are feeling like a sadness right now, a softness. And I want you to know I feel it too. I'm just not feeling it right now. So I love you. I just can't meet
That's
you.
good.
I
That's
can't meet
good.
you there, because then I would have lived in that sadness. And we had a guest that was here for years, and his wife said, thank you for treating him like a human. Like, one of the guys, he's an idiot. Like, he's just a goofball. And thank you for seeing him through his diagnosis of Parkinson's. And he was pretty advanced. He was toward end of life. And like, he's the kind of guy that he'd call us over and we'd be like, oh my gosh, it takes you so long to say something. And he would start laughing because he had Parkinson's. Of course, it took him a long time, but he needed that jesting and that humor and that fun. And we saw him as the man that God created him to be, not just somebody living with Parkinson's.
Yeah.
Or
I love
not
that.
just Parkinson's, And so, anyway,
Well, I think
we
that's
have to go.
We do have to go,
we
but
gotta go.
I love that. Our loved ones are humans. They're more than the diagnosis. As we close the show today, we just would like to remind our listeners that they can contact us for more information and resources to help you through the journey of caregiving at joycehouse.org. And thank you so much to Cardon and Associates. With 20 communities owned, operated, or managed in the Midwest and more than 40 years of senior living experience, Cardon and Associates provides residents with the best senior living options. Until next time, take good care of each other.